And we are back, folks. What's up? Koyo here. We're on the second half of the first video I recorded from a 6-hour and 30-minute stream. God damn, it's so long. But let's just get straight to it. You know why you're here. You wouldn't click. Why would you click the second episode and not watch the first? Unless, I don't know, you're trying to skip the village. Whatever. Analysis video, start. And there's gonna be more people like that, and it's just fun to see that in the game. Right now, there's no like overly symbolic elements besides fate that was brought up. There's an interesting thing with that. So now this is the part where I'm just gonna cut out stuff for the most part. I'll show one battle, and I'm sure we're gonna get into it in just a bit. But I think if I remember correctly, there were some things to pick up around this area. But for those of you watching at home, not on the stream, you're not going to be seeing much of me traveling around, at least unless I decide to say some crazy stuff or answer questions in the comments. So here's how the gameplay works. You have however much not stamina, but however much turn order stuff you have, and you can input commands within that limit and do little combos. And Chrono Cross would adopt this in its own different way as well, funny enough. They could do light, medium, and heavy attacks, as you saw. And they each have their own accuracy value that you can't see. In Chrono Cross, you can see it, though, so you could tell some of the team staff thought this was a good idea to experiment more with. But one thing that they do here is death blows, which will be, now to show you. Now that I've put 4 triangles, 1 X, the first death blow you can learn is triangle X. Okay, it doesn't show up yet. We probably will level up and have that. All right, but this is all you're gonna see so far, guys. We're gonna be back at Dr. Uzuki's home. We're at Dr. Citan Uzuki's house, and we're using his telescope, and you can actually get like a view of some of the world map. And they keep telling you about this Ave place beyond the Black Moon Forest over there, but we can't really see it still. We can make out that there's like some sand there, maybe. That's about it. But this also just tells you how remote this place is. Like, you cannot see it. Even if you're on a mountain. You have to be on, from beyond the mountain. You have to be on the mountain to actually see it. So, yeah. Really interesting. Alright. So, we're gonna talk to the family. Here's Yui, or not Yui, Midori. Hi, Midori. It's a nice day to play outside. How about we feed the birds later? So she's a quiet child. That's a thing for some reason in Xenogears. I think there's like one other quiet child. Maybe there's a third one too. Oh, Faye, welcome. Hello, Yui. Where's Doc? My husband is Oh yeah, that's right. This is probably one of the greatest quotes ever. My husband is tinkering with his junk out in the backyard. Like Ted Woolsey. Ted Woolsey. Let's give a round of applause, everyone. Let's give a round of applause to Ted Woolsey's translation. And I think it was something like that in Japanese as well, something similar on that kind of scope. But still, this is hilarious. I should have guessed. Doesn't he ever get sick of playing with that? Well, okay then. I'll go out into the backyard and see if I can find him. Actually, I forgot she has anything else to say. My darling husband is probably tinkering with his junk out in the backyard. Didn't you see him there? So yeah, he's not in that house, he's not upstairs, and, we can't, if we look around, we still can't find him anywhere. I don't see him tinkering with his junk. He's got a very unique mechanism here, too. Where are you, Doc? Whoa. What's going on? Oh, this is no good. Why do they use such inferior parts? Why is there... whoops. This is why the intervention strat... Doc, so that's where you are. Where you were. Whoops. Oh, Faye, good to see you. Are you all right, Doc? What are you doing all the way up there? I thought I would try to restore this land crab. Oh, and that explosion was nothing to worry about. It happens all the time. Could you wait a while? Oops, could you wait a while? I was just about ready to call it a day. Oh, yes, there is something interesting in the storeroom. Why not take a look? Okay, Doc, I will. But please, hurry up. It'll get dark before you know it. Okay, so let's see what's in the storeroom. So this is actually a very important section. So this is what Doc was talking about. Let me see. What's so interesting about it? Whoa! I find it funny how they go, wow! That was like a common thing in some other RPGs too. Wow! Even Dart from Legend of Dragoon goes, wow! What is this? I hope that's coming through. Maybe I gotta up the volume a little. This is a very important song. Na, 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 da, da, da. I'm turning it up. Da, da, na. Mm-hmm. Na, 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 da, 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 da. Na, na, na. Like a proud wolf alone in the dark, as passion burns in its heart. Burns in your heart. Ready to fight, a knife held close by your side. Oh, the next part is the... Oh, okay. What's broken mirror, a million shades of light. The old echo fades away, but just you and I can find the answer, and then we can run to the end of the world. Oh wait, no, it goes run to the end of the world. That's how it goes. But otherwise, I skipped some lines there. Run through the cold of the night as passion burns in your heart, ready to fight, a knife held close by your heart, your side, like a proud wolf alone in the dark, with eyes that watch the world, and my name is like a shadow on the face of the moon, broken mirror, million shades of light, and you heard the rest. Then it goes, cold fire clenched to my heart, in the blue of the night, torn by this pain, I paint your name in sound, and the girl of the dawn, with eyes of blue and angels' wings, the song of the season are her only crown. And there's one more little lyric and everything, but kind of, something that has a lot of meaning is called Small Two Pieces. Small Two of Pieces. And you hear it good. But this, like, the music doesn't necessarily come back. It's not something like, oh, I remember this from my childhood. No, it's not. Well, anyway, what they explain here is more specific, so I feel like I've heard it before somewhere. What do you think? Not bad, huh? Doc. Hello again, Faye. Sorry to have kept you waiting. But see, it feels like it's been a while before he gets there. It would have been instantaneous otherwise. Music is a mysterious thing. Sometimes it makes people remember things that they do not expect. Many thoughts, feelings, memories, things almost forgotten, regardless of whether the listener desires to remember them or not. Doc, what is this? So what he says there is basically like introducing a theme in the game that's going to be relevant, and that's remembrance and other sorts of little elements. It was excavated from some old ruins, and is still under repair. So, from old ruins, do we remember some exposition in the beginning about old ruins and excavating? And like, I don't know, ethos and stuff. So, I'll let you do with what you want to do with that. I can't say anything. I can't say anything for like until disc 2. Obviously, it is an audio. Obviously, it is an audio device of some type. Long ago, people would listen to this melody, just as we are doing now. At times, they would have been cheered up, while at times they would have been made to cry. By the way, what brings you here today? Oh yeah, that's right. Alice asked me to borrow some camera equipment from you. Oh yes, her wedding is tomorrow, right? Understood. Well, we'd better get them ready then. Oh, and dinner should be ready soon. Would you like to join us? Would I ever? I was hoping you would ask. I still have some cleaning up to do out there. Out here. Would you mind giving Midori some company back in the house? Okay, take your time, Doc. I'll go ahead and eat when dinner is ready. Ha ha ha. Go right ahead. But I will not be held responsible if you get a stomachache from eating my wife Yui's cooking. Doc, I feel strange when I listen to this music. I feel something warm inside. That just may be because you have someone living in... Oh my... I forgot about this line. Oh! I can't say anything! Need to try sleeping. Alright, I can't... You sleep well, but I literally cannot say anything. You may have someone living inside of you. And he too must have liked this music a long time ago before he became a part of you. Ah! Oh my god, it's so funny. Every time I come back to this game, I forget about, like, all these things. And then I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about that. Oh, and now I can't say anything about it. Alright, you sleep well though, Bryn. Is Timothy and Alice's wedding really tomorrow? It might actually be better to live an ordinary life, in this condition, as a son of man. Well, anyway, I suppose I had better adjust to the gyro at least. Adjust the gyro at least. Huh? Uh-oh. So, I'll talk about the way he talks later. Uh-oh. What? This cannot be. Is this an omen? Now, what is going to happen? Oh, Elwyn. Wow, been a long time since I've played this wonderful game. Absolutely. Yeah, I've just been not spoiling, but also telling people, hey, remember this, remember this. We're doing a lot of analysis where it comes up. That was good. Your cooking never fails to impress me, Yui. Thank you for such a delicious meal. You're welcome. If you'd like my cooking that much, then I'd be happy to cook for you anytime, Faye. I'll bring the equipment the equipment you need to the village tomorrow morning myself. It does not exactly make me comfortable to have you handle such delicate instruments, I am afraid. So, if you notice, the way Citan speaks, Citan, oh, the devil, right? If I feel like every time I go Citan, I have to go, sits, the number of the devil. Oh, you own the OST? Oh, that's great. That's great. I love everything about Xenogears. Xenogears made me who I am today. Like, Xenogears is my personality. But if you notice the way he talks, it's very, it's very structured. It's very, how do I put it? It's very overly formal, which is an interesting thing about Citan. You won't hear much of the other characters do this, but he speaks in a way of, like, high intelligence, sometimes to the point that it can sound condescending at times, but where have I heard that line before? That's alright by me. Well, see you tomorrow, Doc. Good night, Yui. Midori. Good night, we're looking forward to tomorrow's wedding. Or, yeah, like, it's... He goes, I am afraid at the end of the sentence, or... Let's see if we catch another one here. Well, good night, Doc. Yes, good night. Ah, no, that's all he says. Oh, Faye, please, be careful. I mean, the path is dangerous when it is so dark. Why not just say, oh, the path is dangerous at night? Also, he says, oh, I need to speak with my wife, Yui. Why does he have to re-inform that we know who your wife is, man? So throughout the entire game, he has this very overly formal manner of speech where he will say like, "Oh, we must go," or how like he won't speak informally. He won't speak casually. He's always speaking very formally. And it's just something of a hint to his character almost, but not entirely. Not the biggest giveaway, not the biggest, telltale sign of things later in the game. What's wrong, Doc? There's nothing to worry about. Well, anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Let's see what he says when we talk to him again. Good night, Faye. And do be careful. All right, so now we're getting into some major territory, which is why, well, we're still getting into major territory, but this is why I still haven't stopped recording yet for the shorter version of this stream. The people at home wouldn't want to see all the running around and battles, random encounters. What's that? About the Japanese script? Oh yeah, no, that's the interesting part. So Ted Woolsey, in his translation of Citan, was, like I said, it's rather interesting. I can't recall if he spoke in a weird similar way, but I do know he did speak a little differently in Japanese, like the way his use of his sentence structure was. It was also, I think, was formal in Japanese too from him. But yeah, the Japanese script is a fun one to compare with this game. What Ted Woolsey kept, which he did as best as he could with a lot of the stuff here. The bigger and harder thing with Xenogears was translating over the Gnostic themes and everything that was just really philosophical. That was the most difficult part for him, and he had to do it all alone. Giants. Bay! Doc, some flying objects went toward Lahan. So you saw them too. Judging by their shadows, they appear to be a group of gears from our neighbor country. See, judging by their shadow, why not just say they appear to be a group of gears, or they appear to be, rather than just saying they look like gears. They are gears. Formality is easier. I know, but like I said, compared to all the other characters, this is the one character that got specifically translated in a ultra-specific way. Something to distinguish him from other characters in the game, both Japanese and English. Those were gears. Oh no, they're headed directly for Lahan. The ones I just saw? Let us make haste. I just said it. Let us make haste. I mean, I know it's all of us, but we should hurry. Instead of let us make haste. But I will be back. I know this is such a mean moment to pause at, but I need to be back. my dog needs something, and I'm also a little bit hungry. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of a be right back. Okay? Oh my gosh, I forgot to be recording. But I'm on time. So what could that mean? So there's a dead pilot on the ground. We actually see a very subtle shadow of them falling out during the previous cutscene, or during the previous moment before the cutscene. There they are on the ground. And oh, whoa, Faye's just jumping right in. He didn't even go to search for anyone. Huh? Faye? So sorry for not recording the moment of how we got here. I got back from having some food, and I was just immediately getting right back in. But essentially, Faye comes back starts heading down the mountain to the village, and they see some gears. Like Citan identifies some gears flying down towards the village, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, we need to get over there quick!" So they go over there, and Timothy and Alice are like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" And they're like, "You guys need to just get out of the village for now, and we're gonna help find stragglers and get everyone out, right?" And then Faye watches a mech, one of the mechas, the gears as they're known as. This is a gear we're staring at. There's a gear that's shooting guns, or that's shooting a machine gun, and he hones in on that for a moment, and then they show some of the destruction around the town, and then they go back to him again, focusing and zooming in on the gunshots. And then eventually there seems to be like an explosion. He jumps away in time, and then he sees this mecha that just sits down in front of him all of a sudden, and its pilot falls out. It's a very small detail to catch, and then now we're here. So he's just, there's a heartbeat. Wait, Faye! Faye is not hearing Citan. He gets inside the robot. He gets inside the robot. Do not do this, Faye! You must not fight here! Faye! Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now, you might recognize this from the intro of the game, right after the FMV sequence. Linguistic modifier enabled. Identified. Lamb. Ignis dialect. No piloting experience. Easy mode set. Very interesting. So, this interface seems to recognize the pilot, like what kind of pilot is in the cockpit. Input interface with the pilot's normal reflex time. Get in the robot, Shinji. I mean, Faye. Yeah, I mean, he gets it himself, you know, which is interesting. And not to mention, just seemingly possessed? Warning to pilot. Combat mode. About to enter combat. 1,200 units of fuel left. Utilize command ring in the upper left of the screen to select attack. Then triangle, square, and X. So this is like an interesting way. Like, this right here is presentation. They're having, like, they're explaining controls to the player, but they're also putting it in a way that's, like, you know, in line with this machine and its user interface. Power and fuel usage differs from the type of attack button. Triangle, 10 fuel, square, 20 fuel, X, 30 fuel units. Charge restores 30 fuel units. I think charging also increases defense, though, which is another little factoid that doesn't always get taken advantage of. Warning, enemy gears are now preparing to attack, terminating help mode. So, now we just get into it. We really don't need to use any... I'll show it off, though, why not? So here's what happens if you use... Well, I didn't even show what guided shot was like the first time. It's just a little key ball he shoots, but here... Here, it's a goddamn flame Kamehameha Shinku Hadoken. So these are Musha Mark 100s. Now we'll attack. So this is how the gear combat kind of goes for those of you at home who are watching the home version of this stream, the shortened version. So, and here we don't have the stamina points or any of that. We don't have the action points. Jokes aside, noting that the gear was on a different language than the continent they're on. Yeah, that's another big one. That's another big one. And if we paid attention to the exposition in the beginning, you know, there's a conflict between Ave and Kislev, and then the Gebler, you know, comes in, helps the Ave, and they're suddenly just totally owning the Kislev. And the Ethos are the ones who are helping with the excavation and people understanding what these mechas are, etc., etc. So this clearly came from somewhere other than... Oh, and they said Ignis dialect. Now remember, Ignis is the continent we're on. So, where is this from in that case? And what else is there besides the very continent we exist on, right? That speaks a different language. Well, that will be all explained in due time. But yeah, here, until we unlock death blows, until we unlock like our physical skills, we're not going to see anything else other than what we're seeing here when we're attacking. The attack level is going to stay at 0. But the same rules apply. The lighter attacks with triangle are high accuracy, low damage. And the heaviest attack is you know, the lowest accuracy, but the best damage that we can get. That's why we do 31 damage instead of 30. Whoa, we gained 3 whole levels after that battle. That's pretty cool. So actually, I believe, was it level 4 or was it level 7 where we're allowed to learn our first death blow? Can't remember. Maybe it was level 8 even. Not coming to me right now. Uh-oh. Reinforcements, huh? A lot of reinforcements. On my right, too. Damn it. How many of them are there? Uh-oh. Who's this guy crossing his arms like an anime ninja? You know how, like, anime ninjas, they do the arm crossing thing, right? They stand on a high place and they're like, Or even like Bison from Street Fighter, crossing the arms, floating. I guess there's no choice but to fight. So, if you guys saw the previous introduction, they're not showing that to you again. They already showed it to you. There's no need to show you that again, where he's getting shot at by these floating gears that are shooting him with the guns and everything. Faye! The way you are fighting! Oh no, this is not good. If he awakens here... If what? I'm sure a lot of people are going, I think it's early. I remember unlocking it before this. Yeah, you could get Raijin before this. I remember purposely going out to the main world map and just trying to find those two-legged enemies and get enough experience to master Raijin early. That way I could, like, kill these guys really fast, right? But if he awakens here... Dan! Are you alright? What on earth are you doing here? Do you not know how worried Alice and Timothy are? I'm sorry, Dr. Uzuki. I got out of the village earlier, but I came back. Just couldn't bear to think of leaving my sister's wedding dress behind here. You returned to save your sister's wedding dress? You are such a sentimental little boy. Let us evacuate. There it is again. Let us evacuate to a safer spot while Faye has their attention. It appears that they are after that gear Faye is in. How does he know that? Why does he know that? Why are they? What does he mean they're after? Faye's inside that monster. These people have no idea what a gear is, so. Faye is bound by the dark, cruel destiny of God. What is this guy talking about? Some people are wondering. Hey. This is a really cool shot, though. Like, that... come on now, Dan. We had better get away from here. So, what I found so interesting about that shot is how they show the other half of the gear, like, in a little more shadow. And it's a nice little theming thing, you know what I mean? And because he's bound by the dark, cruel fate of God, like, so there's a half of him that is now absorbed into whatever this cruel fate he is talking about is. And there'll be way more on that later. Just give it some time. Dan! I knew you were still in the village. Boy, am I glad you're okay. Huh? Oh, jeez. Oh no! Timothy! Wait! Don't shoot! Stop it! These people have nothing to do with you! Here's a major moment. Timothy! I mean, if you couldn't tell already, you should be able to tell. It's... out of my way, you bastards! Stop it! I said stop it! Hmm. Oh, this is... Okay. So I'm actually quite used to, back in the day, this would crash in certain scenarios on older emulation. But Station got it covered. Uh, uh. So, yeah, what do you think happened? What do you think happened? Huh? Where am I? I know Elwyn knows what happened. Oh yeah, well, sorry, I forgot to say welcome to the stream, Elwyn. Welcome. Welcome here. I appreciate you being here. Doc! Oh, you have finally gained consciousness, Faye. Doc, what happened? Where's Chief Lee? Timothy? Alice? What did I... Yes, well, that is... You murderer! Dan. Dan, what do you mean? This was your first PS1 game? Oh my god, that's crazy. Um, Final Fantasy VII was my first PS1 game, but Xenogears I would get eventually. Like there was like maybe Ape Escape and a few other games that would like just get in the way there. Final Fantasy VIII, I think, maybe even 9. I remember I always saw Xenogears. Like I remember seeing an advertisement in the magazine, and then I also saw it at the store. And the thing was, I actually had played Xenogears maybe before Final Fantasy One, for Final Fantasy Seven, for all I know. And that was because there was this guy we knew. I don't remember who he was. I wish there was some way I could find out, but I actually he had Xenogears playing on an emulator before I knew what emulators even were. So I thought Xenogears was a PC game. This entire for like literally some of my childhood, I thought Xenogears was a PC game. So then, lo and behold, I see it in the store, and I'm like, "Oh, this is that game. This is that game I saw. Look, like the UI and everything looks the same on the back of the cover." And I would end up picking it up, and it would change my life forever. But to have that before FF7 must have been crazy, because now you can't appreciate FF7 anymore. I'm just joking. I am joking. But I feel like this game changes you so much, and it makes you so curious about philosophy, psychology, all of it. It changes you as a person and makes you want to seek more answers on any media or anything you interact with for deeper understanding. And sometimes it makes it hard to appreciate even simple things. At least that's how it is for me sometimes. Like I remember at one point being like, well, I'm still like, Xenogears is a masterpiece beyond a masterpiece in terms of its philosophical storytelling and its deeper narratives and symbolism and everything. Nothing has ever achieved anything like it still to this day. Like, not in Mankind, not even Xenoblade 3 was like really close. Xenoblade 3 came so close. There was so much like alchemic symbolisms. There was so much Nietzsche on the there was so much Gnosticism. They had Sigmund Freud, id and super ego. Not so much on ego. Well, okay, ego was somewhat there, but it's very like subtle. But like Xenoblade 3 felt like it really had so much Xenogears DNA in it, more so than the other games, but still nothing comes close. And to this day, it feels like Takahashi is trying to get back to that. but he really needs Sorya Saga. He needs his wife to get in on there, you know? They should remaster the game, but it's like my main concern. I mean, they can bring it back, but my main concern is it can't be brought back on PlayStation because PlayStation is just ultra against they hate like any kind of suggestive themes that are presented from an Asian developer. I've realized it because Stellar Blade is proof of that fact. Because at first I thought it's just anime, and they like to censor anime nowadays. But Stellar Blade is not anime, but it's from an Asian developer, and they censored it on day one. So if that doesn't say anything, then I don't know what does. But they just like censoring that stuff. Yet they allow Western developed games to they don't put any censorship there. So I'm afraid they could not like they can modify it. It's impossible. I don't think they even have the source code for the game anymore. But they can't like remove the scene, so they might not even bother remaster it. And if they remastered it, it would be a complete remake from the ground up, or a remaster from the ground up, like 2D HD style or something, like Star Ocean, how they did that. But even then, they might remove some very important scenes and dialogue from the game just out of pure censorship, unless the game's released on the Nintendo Switch, where they seem to have a precedent against censorship. Like they're not censoring the games that are getting censored by Sony. So I don't know. So hopefully it would come out on somewhere like PC and Nintendo Switch where they don't censor or change like the stuff. They actually let it be. Because I know what was it? There's some recent games that once again like had a censorship problem for the PlayStation only, which is so weird. I need to try Stellar Blade myself too. It looks good. Oh, sorry. It was because you would to go get in that monster. But yeah, sorry for completely going off track there, everybody. Especially like in the recording, but I think that's actually important. Like discussing the possibility of bringing Xenogears back. The only thing I would ever want out of Xenogears coming back, okay, let's make this very clear. Very, very clear. It would be awesome if they could, here's the thing. They would, one, have to outsource hire Monolith Soft because they had Takahashi's there. Two, they would have to actually include all the stuff in Disc 2 that they expositioned over. Like, the exposition chair in Disc 2, okay, that's all. For those of you, not necessarily spoiler, but let's just say Disc 2, they rather, okay, the main thing development wise, rather than cut content and just not show it at all and end the game early and release it in its current state and hope to make a sequel later, which Square suggested, Takahashi was like, no, we're finishing this game. We need to finish it. The story needs to be complete. So what did he do? He had to cut corners. He had to just, cut corners while still telling you what happened. And that's the thing. He had to do tell, not show. So literally you have this moment where characters are telling you about how they went into some cool ass dungeon and they did such and such, and then they had this conversation with whoever and they found out about this and that and doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. And it was honestly like a lot of people actually loved it. I loved it. I was like, whoa, because some of the most important things are delivered to you like ad nauseum, as is, just like that. They explain it, they tell you, everything you need to understand is just told in exposition. And while it's like, oh, but they should show not tell, well, they couldn't. They were out of time. And they had to finish. And they wanted to give you a full complete story. Okay, they gave you a full complete story, but we got one of the best things out of it, and the pacing was good. Like, honestly, there were long, like, you would be there for an hour unable to save, going through somewhat of a visual novel with some playable sections. But people actually liked it a little better than, or some people, and myself included, liked it a little bit better than Disc 1 because the information wasn't spread apart. It wasn't spread apart by you exploring the world, getting stuck on bosses or anything like that. It was just boom, you're getting it. So there was less confusion in Disc 2, which is why people who play Xenogears, they really remember a lot of things about it, or they go back and they play it again and they're like, oh, like that moment helps make sense of so much things in the beginning too. So like in some ways I'm like, they could still give us the exposition chair, but I want to play like one of the dungeons that they showed in there. Like they need to give me the dungeon that they mentioned that one of the characters went on with another one of the characters, because I'm curious of how the two would have interacted with each other because of reasons that I can't explain. But I want to see those moments. I would want to see that, so they could still have the exposition chair, but let us play more of those moments that they were telling us about. Like instead of telling us, yeah, we went through this cool dungeon and blah blah blah, like, yeah, we have that, and then we actually play it as well. I don't know, like it would just be so great to see the unplayable moments. It would be so cool. That would be the best thing ever. And it would be nice to see what Xenogears 1 through, because this was Xenogears. Spoiler warning. This is episode 5, was it? Or was it episode 4? Within like an actual whole thing. I think Xenogears Perfect Worth said it was 5 from memory, how they show the timeline. But there's actually a whole bunch of stuff that happened before this, and Takahashi wanted to revisit all the things that he shows that are of the past in this game. You'll see when we get to it. But end of spoiler warning. Not sure where that would be. 132. Shoot, I wish I said something earlier. All the dungeons in this game, all the dungeons are in the final world map. No, there's one. Oh, okay, it is 5. Awesome. But there's one that you don't get to do. And it's a place that looks like where we're going to, but it's not there. And it's with two characters that are not Fae. Let's just put it that way. This was a separate thing that would have been done without Fae. So, but I can't say who those characters are yet until we meet the last one. Yeah, it's the last character and the character we're gonna meet soon. They had a dungeon that they only tell you about, and it's from the second character's exposition. The second character, their exposition is when they talk about it, and they're like, "I had to go with the last person that you recruit, through this dungeon." Do you know what I'm talking about now? Like that's not a dungeon you get to play because it wasn't even from Faye's perspective. And I was like, I want to know what happened there. We get to play parts of the other final dungeons. Yeah. It's the one that looks like the design was based off of where we're heading to, and they just kind of reused it for the picture that they show. It was because you had to get in that monster. Alice and Timothy, the people of the village are all... You killed everyone using that monster! Sorry, I can't do a better voice for this kid. Why did he have to fight in the middle of the village? Says someone. How do you even know how to operate such a monster? Mother? Where's Mother? See, I told you so. I said allowing someone we knew nothing about into our village would spell disaster. Ow, it hurts! It hurts! Dan! Yikes! No, keep away, I'm scared! Ah! Sorry for all the voices. Murderer! My sister! Give back my sister! Dan, there is nothing to be gained from putting all the blame on Faye alone. What is more, you know Faye had no control over the malfunction of that gear. I know that! But... I hate you! Ah! Dan! It might be better if we left him by himself for a little while. He does not know what to do with his grief, his anger. And Faye, it might be a good idea for you to leave this place. There is no guarantee that reinforcements from yesterday's unit are not going to come. They'll probably want to know what happened to their comrades. Also, if you stay here, I do not think the atmosphere is going to be very joyful, if you know what I mean. It is probably best for you and all the other villagers here. I guess you're right. This disaster happened because I was here. But what am I supposed to do now? Yes, well, why not go through Black Moon Forest and head for Ave? I'm sure those soldiers from yesterday were not from Ave. If you can manage to get to the Ave side, they will not be able to track you down very easily. Okay, I understand, Doc. Well, anyway, please take care of the rest of things here, Doc. Of course. Well, do take care now. Ugh. This is not a happy situation, clearly. Very grim one. Oh boy. You killed everyone with that monster! Murderer, my sister! Give back my sister! So he's just remembering Dan's words and... And let's not forget what we saw with Alice and how, you know, like, oof. There's a lot there. Timothy, his one and only, you know, his good friend, destroyed their marriage, killed the villager, the village chief who took him in. Like, so he's lost also somewhat of a father figure. Like, this is pretty bad. So now we gotta move on. So I'll just be pausing eventually to do that. I'm gonna be using like oh man, even probably more of these menu cards. At least like I know what I'm kind of doing now, but I've played this game this is the 6th. This is like, okay, out of like how many times I've started the game and went some ways in is like probably 10, 11. But this is the 5th time I'm like probably gonna seriously go through the game again. Maybe 6 even. Because I know I was watching I was doing the book club style of play with Resonant Ark's you know, Xenogears analysis. That is, if you have not, okay, shoutouts and, you know, plug for like just what made me love this game even more again. Like, I knew about a good chunk of like some of the stuff, but not all of it. I didn't know about Gnosticism. I didn't know about Nietzsche. I only knew about Carl Jung and, you know, Sigmund Freud. So once I had that knowledge, oh my gosh, everything changed. I highly suggest watching Resonant Ark's Xenogears story analysis. It is very good. Please check it out. I'm actually going to put them in the description of my video. I don't know if I'm able to do it right now, though. Let me see. Is there a way for me to edit things? Edit. Okay, here we go. Okay, they're in the description. So if you have not seen Resonant Arc, the channel, and their Xenogears podcast, and it's not just podcasty, they do show some things, they're talking to each other if you need a visual, but please watch it if you play like, even if you're playing Xenogears for the first time, play through with them, especially if you like, if you want to understand the game without having to play it a second time. Even watch that analysis. It is so mind-blowing. And if you've already played the game, even better, watch that analysis, play through again with them. It was it was so good. Waking up, you know, I think they were doing it during COVID, and it was so awesome to wake up like, oh, it was like every Friday or something, and you know, I played up to the point they said to stop at and go over, and learning so much. Like, one of the things that really stuck with me about this game is they said in order to understand, or no, by the time you understand this game completely, you have a college level understanding of philosophy and maybe a little bit of theology, Carl Jung, Sigmund Freud, some psychology, etc. That is not an exaggeration. It's 45 hours worth it. Trust me. Like, I had that while I was somewhat playing through Xenogears at the same time. Like, going from certain areas or when I was grinding, I would have it playing. And I was also, or even when I was playing another game, say I was already at the area that you're supposed to be at or something, that they wanted you to be at, I was playing something else on the side while listening to their podcast. And I'm telling you, if you want to learn more about Xenogears instead of getting, like, even more than me, okay? I highly recommend going to them if you want a 100% full understanding of all the symbolism and all the deeper narratives and everything in this game. But if you want the layman's version, then you could stay here, but I'm still going to recommend them over even myself. Because even I cannot regurgitate all the information that they have in their brain that well, because my brain has to be filled with something else for a board exam that I'm going to be doing in like 2 weeks or something. So I don't have the mental capacity for it right now. It needs to be for other things. But I can give you the layman's versions of Carl Jung and all that stuff. So that's why I'm doing this anyway, because it's like I want it to be another resource of some sort. Sort of. Well, also, I want to play Xenogears. I've wanted to play Xenogears on my channel for such a long time. You would never believe it. And I'm finally doing it, and I actually feel super happy. I feel super proud of myself. But, I've been waiting. Like, I felt like I can't do Xenogears justice. But maybe the way I can do it justice is by being, like, also applying my own analysis, because sometimes they were like, okay, this is very interpretive, and you know, even I had my own interpretations that I was adding down in the comments of their YouTube, kind of hoping they would notice and maybe like talk about it, you know, like maybe think about it a little, like what I suggested, but you know. So right now you might notice I'm using the triangle X command here. I mean, one, it does do good damage, but then two, and it's something you can fit in, but two, the reason why I'm actually using this is because this is how you quickly learn your first special move in the game. And we should be able to. We have 4 action points. Once you get to 4 action points, you can basically learn your first special move. Other characters will just already have that, or it might even already have some special moves they can learn. So there are a few things to collect around here, so for those of you who are watching the recording afterwards, you're not going to see me running around to get those. So we just beat up an enemy and let this rock roll along. We're just going to look for the treasure chest. I'm letting the people on the recording know. Okay, so important scene coming up here. Rana Karte!
Throw down your weapon. Make one wrong move and I'll shoot.
You're gonna shoot? What? Turn around. I said, turn around. Are you shaking? Be quiet! You don't seem to be one of the Kislev soldiers who are after me, but... Don't move! I have orders to kill all surface dwellers, lambs I come in contact with. It's part of my mission. Nothing personal. I have a question for you. How do I get out of this forest? Are you lost? Just answer my question. How do I get out of here? Sorry, but I'm looking for the way out of here too. Oh. How long are you just going to stand there like that? So, for those of you who are seeing Xenogears for the first time, I doubt you would be seeing it here. You're more likely to see it on more popular YouTuber channels and whatnot. But if you do happen upon here, I'm sure you must be wondering, what the heck is he talking about right now? Why is he saying that? Is he just being rude? If you're going to shoot me, then hurry and do it. What an odd thing to say. Don't you understand the situation you're in? I don't care about my situation. I'm just a guy whose life is worthless. There's no point in me living anyway. So, what's one of the first signs of depression? You know, it can occur, you can actually, what is it? So, depression can actually occur after PTSD. And, you know, usually when someone starts feeling it's worthless to go on or anything, it's very important in the medical field, which I might be involved in, I won't say directly, but it's very important to recognize that sign as a sign of depression, and to investigate it more. If you ever meet anyone who is like this, and you are their friend, please, that is your time to extend, you know, care out to them, to show them that you care, to show them that they are worth, you know, something, but to also tell them to seek help. Depression is very, very powerful. It is the most powerful evil that can plague anyone. And, well, I will say Faye is probably one of the first things that made me I'm not going to go into personal life stuff. So anyway, main thing is Faye is a big inspiration for me to help others. Let's put it that way. But not just, it's related to personal life. Anyway. Don't ask for me. Seek medical help. It is very important if you have depression. But there is a lot to psychologically study about Faye that is actually more accurate than I thought. And once we get to it, which is unfortunately closer to Disc 2, I will explain some personality disorder, to be specific, that he has currently, that he's going to, actually I'll be able to explain it as we go, but I have to make a correction on a certain character who says something else. It is not that something else. But what are you aiming at? Here, shoot me here. Come on. Are you mocking me? You're weird. Something's very wrong with you. You should at least resist a little bit. Uh-oh. What's this? Who are you? Stop! Keep your hands off Elly! Elly? Who? Who's Elly? I just sure you can my ass. I always like the little triple combo. But, yeah, so he's basically had it with life. He's done. He is absolutely done. And I don't blame him. Everything that happened, and, you know, he's blaming himself for all of it. He's lost everything he knows in life. Let's not forget, he has no memories of the last 3 years. Literally, he was, they said he was barely able to, like, form words or something. And then he started, like, coming to eventually. Started sounding like a person. So, imagine, put yourself in a situation where, literally the only thing you know is that, and now it's all gone. Everyone has turned on you. They see you as a monster. I don't think a lot of people can imagine that, though. It's not something that, like, you can imagine, but you can't really know. You can't really know what that feels like, per se, unless you've really experienced something like that. In fact, one of my professors, who I learned, like, more psychology stuff from, yeah, they actually experienced something similar. Not on the side of being a monster, but losing their village and everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, and they told me exactly, you know, what they went through and everything, and yeah, Faye is a very well-written character. Are you all right? Hang in there! Good. You finally woke up. You didn't move for so long that I started to worry. And, if you... Oh, right. I mean, nobody's probably made it this far even in the recording, but, from the beginning, I just kind of went into it. I'm sorry. But the, what is it? Obviously, this is all analysis. We're going to be stopping a lot to talk about a lot of scenes. So if you're looking for gameplay, this is not it. This is not it. You should go elsewhere. If you're looking for gameplay and you're not looking for discussion, then this is not it for you. This video is not for you. Bye bye. Good. You finally woke up. Oh, right. We read that. How are you feeling? Do you still intend to kill me? Then go right ahead. Shoot me. But you'd better not do it while we're in this forest. Forest monsters hate loud noises, you know. Fine. Don't talk to me if you don't want to. But it wouldn't kill you to thank me for tending your wounds. Thanks. But you shouldn't have helped me. Don't think it'll save your life, though. It really doesn't change a thing. What are you so afraid of? I'm not afraid. I'm just being cautious. Record a separate thing to add to the beginning of the video. I know, I might have to. And I'm sad that I have to, because I was just hoping to upload it just like that, but yeah, I may have to. It's natural for me to be cautious considering I've met a suspicious surface-dwelling lamb. Don't you worry, I'm not going to do anything. Besides, you're much more suspicious than I am. Huh? So, what's your name? And it's funny that he said that, she goes, huh? Because, you know, she was speaking a completely different language and all this stuff. So, you know, and he's the surface-dwelling lamb. So it's like, how are you more suspicious than I am, you know? Like, I belong here. I'm this surface dweller. I don't know what that means, but, you know, for you to call me something that I get categorized into, I think you're more suspicious. So it's funny how she goes, huh, not really realizing, like, hey, you kind of came down on me with a gun. I won't give you my name to a surface dweller lamb. What's with you in this lamb thing? We're both lost in this forest, surrounded by dangerous monsters. Shouldn't we at least be cooperating with each other until we get out of here? Good. So what's your name? It's going to be hard for us to cooperate without one another at least knowing each other's names. Anyway, my name is Fei Fong Wong. So this is the first time his whole name has been introduced. You can call me Fei. So Fei Fong Wong is actually what was it? He is... Oh my god, wait. The name is based off an actual... Was it a Chinese philosopher, I believe it was? No, I'm trying to remember now. Wang Fei Hung. Okay, so he's based off... I had to look it up. He's based off a Chinese hero named Wang Fei Hung of Guangdong, China. His name in katakana is written exactly the same as the Chinese hero. Because of this, his name can also be written as Wang Fei Fong. So, just a little interesting tidbit, but yeah. Just thought I'd put that out there. I'm Elhayim, but my parents call me Elly. Elly, huh? Somehow I already knew that. So, another interesting thing this, right here. Somehow I already knew that. So, something to pay attention to later, please remember this. Remember this, write it down somewhere. He already knows that. He knows her name is Elly. Why? Well, you know, we'll find out as we go through the game. And she's confused by it. Anyway, it's too dangerous to travel in these parts this late at night. Let's wait till daybreak before we can continue looking for a way out of here. If that's okay with you. I guess we have no choice, do we? Okay then, Elly. How about having something to eat? So, supposedly those were the hob jerkies that he's cooking there. Possibly. Oh! Important scene.
Wait! Hey! Don't leave me here! Wait!
So let's take notice to that right
You
there.
must be lonely here by yourself. Faye. Faye. Faye.
So we see a character that might look somehow familiar. Maybe. Faye. And are you awake? We don't even get a follow-up if he actually dreamed that or not. They make it seem like it really was what he was dreaming. And maybe we're going with the, oh, sometimes you don't remember your dreams when you wake up, right? But I thought we just said 3 years ago, you know, he had no memories of anything up to that point. He was carried by a masked man up to the front door like a blank slate almost. So what the hell was that? At first, you might forget that information in the village, or if you didn't talk to everyone, you know, if you missed talking to that lady in the very beginning, because I didn't do that, I went right up the stairs when I first started as a kid. If you miss that scene, then you're not even going to question this scene right here. Like, some people, you can still find other people bringing it up, sort of, but that detailed scene and everything showing you that makes this make less sense, technically. Well, not less sense, but it makes you question, wait, I thought, you know? It makes you go, I thought this was the case. So, what is going on, right? Oh yeah, now that we have another character, now we can do this! Woo! We can jump in circles and make her copy what we do. Yes. There's a 4-panel coma with someone playing around with this idea of the characters following whatever Faye is doing and jumping on top of people's heads, and yeah, there's a lot of funny stuff with that. So just a funny thing. But now all we just got to do, there's not going to be anything until we get to the next little area checkpoint, and we'll just be taking care of these encounters to further level up Faye and everything. All right, so actually, for those of you back home, I know I keep saying back home, but for those of you who are watching this recording, we're going to stop here. This will be part 1. I know it was 2 hours, but there was a lot of fun stuff in the beginning, little secrets and all that to look at, as well as this very moment, you know, that we were talking about not too long ago. But we'll stop here because we're hitting 2 hours, and hopefully the other videos will be a little shorter. So you guys, be ready. I'm just going to be hitting record right after I stop recording this one. So stay tuned for the second video if that comes up immediately after. There it is, and so on and so forth. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I love you all!